Hi, I'm George and welcome to Gmakes, and in this tutorial we are going to be making a Christmas tree, a real cute quick one that's kind of in the aesthetic of like a snow globe or like a miniature or a miniature. I really like it. It can also look pretty realistic, but you can get that cute kind of aesthetic going too, and it's pretty quick and easy to do. So first thing, we're going to delete everything in our scene. We're going to add in a cube. Gotta delete that first one. Gotta get a fresh one in here. We're going to move this up just so it sits on our plane right here, just to make it nice. And now I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier. I'm in Blender 4.0, so I got the new menu system, subdivision surface. I'm going to make my viewport levels match the render levels. And then I'm just going to make this look more like a tree. This is my tree! It looks like a cone, it looks real weird. It's maybe a little too perfect, but we can fix that later. So I'm going to apply my subdivision surface modifier now. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And now we get into what makes this look that nice, like miniature snow globe aesthetic, which is object. We're going to quick effects, quick fur. Boom, we got fur. Yes, we're using the new, but I guess not really new, hair system, the fur system for Blender geometry nodes from Genemin 4.0. So we're going to go ahead and grab our asset browser up, and we're going to go to hair, just so we have all the hair elements right there. Perfect. And now we have all of our bits here. So we have our cube, which I'm actually going to rename tree, and then you can see we have our curves, which are our hair curves. So we want to modify these. Of course we do. So first things first, we are going to add a trim curve, because we're going to need that. So trim hair curves, just right onto our curve system. Right away it's not correct because it's all the way down at the bottom. I'm going to move that up. I'll put it after set hair curve profile. And now we're going to mess around with the length. We want something pretty short, so look at 0.01. That's too short for the scale we're at. So we can just keep going up, maybe 0.1. That's getting a little better, so let's go maybe like 0.5. That's a little too long for me now, so 0.2. Let's go 0.2, because we're also going to modify this even more. We're going to go to interpolate hair curves now, and the density of this is 75. I want something a lot more. But before I actually do that, I'm going to make sure it doesn't crash my computer and change the viewport amount to like 0.1, and then I'll do like 5,000. 10,000 is also pretty good, but this gives us a little short, a great idea. So you can see we are seeing 0.1 of 5,000, which is however many hairs. But there we go. So now with the hair curve selected, I'll go back to object mode. We are going to now look at interpolating hair curves. We can also mess with the seed value here. Boo, 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 boo. Oop, boo, boo, boo. Perfect. So now we can go to hair curves and noise, and this is where we get to have fun. So scale, you can see as we start to mess with this, I'll maybe even do interpolate down to like 0.05, just to get a little bit less. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. So scale, we maybe want something around 5. Again, it's going to depend on the scale of your tree. And now the shape, we actually want something like 0.1. And then if we go to frizz hair curves, we also want this shape to be like 0.1. And we also can do this distance. That's too much. 0.1. We really want this distance for this frizz. Frizz is really important. Maybe even less on that shape. 0.01. So there we go. We can see we're starting to get a shape of a tree. But now we have kind of the general shape of our tree. It's really fuzzy, as you can see. But let's add a color to this. Let's add some shader editor. And now this is just the fur material. I'm going to add use nodes. Perfect. And we're not going to actually use like a hair node or anything. We're just going to keep this principle BSDF. But we are going to use a curve info. On the random one, it's going to give random colors for random strands, which is what we want. So if we keep that selected, we go to color ramp. We can, on this black side of it, we can choose like a green color, a dark green color, and then we can copy that and paste that on the white side. We want to switch this to constant, and then let's just pick some colors. So let's that one. Let's make a like more kind of bluish light one, and let's do one more. Let's do like a more green light one. Perfect. And now also for that tree, we can add a new color for the tree and just make it like green and dark We also want the roughness to be pretty high. We can also turn on the specular. We can turn that down. Now for the needles, we want the roughness again. Again, I'm going for that kind of miniature look. But you can see we're getting there. And one thing I want to do, because this is a Christmas or a winter tree, is I'm going to add another middle one right here and actually make this like white. So we'll make it pretty bright and then saturated, not at all. Maybe make it a little blue. And then you can mess with how many of these you might want. But adding those little white ones will give it like that kind of fuzz and also make it look a little snowy. Now we're going to add a couple things. So with the original tree body selected, I'm actually going to go to my geometry node editor and hit new. And I'll name this like tree, just cause. So this is going to add tinsel and lights to our tree, which is a lot of fun. So first things first, for tinsel, we're going to grab a spiral, a curve spiral. So if we can see that viewer, we really want the end radius. We can even just go to geometry node settings. End radius is going to be that top one. I'm just going to turn off the curves for now so they don't affect my stuff. We're going to actually join geometry. So I want to see this. There we go. So we can see the end radius is affecting that and my start radius. So we want to try to match these up as best we can. Also make the height kind of match. And then I can see how many rotations I might want to do with that. That's a pretty good little tinsel wrap. So we also want to do a couple things to this. We can get a transform geometry node if we just need to, if we want to be able to rotate it, or if we want to just like move it down or move it up. But it looks like it's pretty well situated and I kind of like where it is, so we're going to leave it for now. But I will grab a set position, and then I will grab the offset. I will do noise. But you can see that made it real funky, so I also need a vector math. And we're going to subtract, and we're going to do 0.5. There we go, so that reset the position. There we go, so now we can look at the detail we might want on that, the roughness, and we can really mess with the scale. And I don't really want it super rough. Right, I guess I do want it really rough. There we go, so I like that. And now we're going to take this curve that we've got set position and everything, and we're going to basically turn it into a tube. So we're going to do curve to mesh. And then we're going to get a curved circle in here for this profile curve. Perfect. And then I'm just going to move this down to like 16. You could probably even do 8. Boop, boop, boop. And then we can really put this radius down. Let's see what 0.1 looks like. Yeah, we can stick with that for now. So I can even do these things a little smaller. I don't mind if it clips into the tree a little bit, because that's also going to give us some nice randomness in this, how this tinsel looks. Sweet. So we can also, if your curve's looking real weird, you can go ahead and you can resample that curve before the set position. Maybe we do length, and then we make it something like that, like 0.7. There we go. It's a little more even, a little nicer. Sweet. So now we've got our circle. But now what we're going to do with this, for this tinsel, we're going to distribute points on faces, and then we're going to instance on points. But where are we gonna? What are we gonna instance? Well, we're gonna instance a grid rather, so a plane. That's kind of big, so we're actually just gonna make this pretty small, and then we can also get a vector math down here. We can switch this to scale, and then we can just put this all to 1, and then we can scale it down. And now random rotation is the next step, so we're going to do that. Or I guess we should start with the random value node. There we go, utilities, random value, plug that into a rotation, and then you can mess with these factors. I also want a lot more of these, so I'm just going to mess with the seed. And then I want a lot more. Let's do 1,000. That's looking pretty good. I can even make the scale a little smaller for me. Maybe even a tiny bit smaller. There we go. I like that tinsel. Sweet. Awesome. So that's our tinsel. We will shade it later. But now we're going to do those wonderful lights on it. So we are going to grab an instance on points again. And we're going to put that down. Oh, not. We'll keep that later. First we want to distribute points on mesh. Points on faces, rather. So put that there. and we want to extrude mesh as well. But again, we want to keep this base geometry still back here, so I'm just going to plug that in the middle. And now, the reason we're extruding this mesh and we're extruding it as a total thing is so that when we distribute these points, we can see them. So we actually want to distribute, we want to extrude a little bit, and if I move this thing, so you can see we have a lot of points. So I'll move this down to 10, give a different scale, even less. We can probably do way less points. We can probably even do Poisson and make this like 0.1, and then make that density max really little, maybe even 0.2. Sweet, and that's, you can see 1.1's a lot. You can really mess with how much you want to extrude this. Like 0.1 maybe is even enough. We want it just on top of the surface. And then we're going to instance, and we're going to instance an icosphere. And then we'll do it two subdivisions, and we can do the same trick from here. We can grab a scale node just to scale this down. Maybe 0.01. That's too small. 0.05. That's better. And these are our lights now. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We got lights, we got camera, we got action. But there we go, and you can mess with the seed, of course, to find one that you like. And now let's get some textures in here again. So we want a shader editor, and we're going to just make some new materials. So I can just select this, and I can just add some slots, and then I can do a new material, and let's name this tinsel. I don't know how you spell tinsel. It's E-L or L-E, one of the two. We can add a lights. So lights, we actually just want to grab an emission texture, and then we want to grab an object info. We put the random into the color and into the emission. Go back to our shader editor. And then now we can't see anything because there's nothing connected to it, so we need a set material node. Plug that into our instance on points, choose lights. And now you can see we're getting different colors, so we want to grab a color ramp, so we want to make these nice and bright. And now we want to again do constant, but let's grab some Christmassy colors. So let's do like a kind of bluish. Let's grab like a yellow. Let's grab a red. Red's a pretty classic one. You could do white too, but white really stands out when you have other colored things, so I'm not going to do a white. I'll do one more. I'll do a green. I know we're going to have a green tree, but we'll do a green. Sweet, those are our Christmas lights. You can see it's looking pretty good. But we want that strength to be pretty high, so let's say 20 for now. And then we also are going back to our tinsel. And now we want to make this metallic. And I'm going to want a silver one, maybe slightly blue tinged. And again, I'm going to set material from that tinsel. Select tinsel. And now we can select our roughness, make it slightly shiny. Perfect. That's pretty much all we need to do. So now if we turn the curves back on, you can see we have our tinsel and everything in our tree. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to make the star. And how we're going to do that is we're going to go to mesh, and then if you have extra objects turned on, we're going to go to extras, and we're going to go to simple star. And so there we go. So here we have the star, and we're actually going to scale it down a little bit, and then actually Control A and apply that scale. And then we're going to actually add a bevel modifier. And we can make this like 5, and then you can mess with how much. So if you apply the scale, probably 0.1, it will just shade smooth. And then we want to do that nice kind of smooth side. I just like this look of this. RX90, and we'll make this lovely, and we'll just put this right on the top. You can also model like a little cone for him to sit on, but I'll just set him right on the tree for now. And then we're just going to add a new texture. We'll make it real simple for now, but you can do a lot of stuff. We'll just make it a gold color, and we'll make it metal, and we'll make it pretty darn shiny. That's a simple way to doing it. There's a lot of other things you can mess around with, but we're getting towards the end of making this too long, so we're just going to keep this simple. And there we go. But that's it. That's modeling a pretty quick once you get down to it from the base tree, and you can make a lot of them pretty easily. A little Christmas tree in Blender with this nice kind of aesthetic. and using the new GeoNodes hair system. So that's it. I've been George. I hope you make some cool stuff with this in this last couple days leading up to the holidays. And we got a lot of winter ahead of us, for better or for worse, so maybe these can help you through making a lot of little forest trees. But anyway, I hope you make something cool with it, and take care. I'll catch you next time.